With me I have Itamar Shapira, a human rights activist, a refusenik, and an Israeli who supports the flotilla. Thank you very much for joining us here on RT. Why were you part of the flotilla last year, and why are you not there this year?
I was on the Jewish flotilla. It was named the Jewish Boat to Gaza last year. It was a bunch of, I would say, 5 old Jews from all over the world, and then another 4 Israelis, younger, and we came with a Jewish message, if you want, Jewish Israeli message that we also, Jews and Israelis, are not against the Palestinians, not about to oppress them. We come in solidarity. We come to break the siege. We acknowledge the situation of the people in Gaza. We think it's illegal, immoral, and criminal for, first of all, for the Palestinians, and secondly, for the Israelis. And this year, I'm just not available for that flotilla. I support it just the same, and it carries the same message, just without the Jewish part of that, with the whole world for peace and taking down the blockade on Gaza.
How much support is there in Israel for the flotilla?
I would say almost none. The flotilla is perceived or taken by most of the people as another attack from outside. It's a little bit, I think, confusing to the Israeli society because this time it's really unarmed, and it's not Palestinians. It's European people, and therefore it's very hard to digest that. But in the situation today that Israelis are so afraid of any change in their thought, afraid from the whole world that hates us for no reason in their eyes, the flotilla is just another attack.
Why is there so little support for the flotilla in Israel?
There is, like I said before, there is the fear, there is the war, there is almost no left-wing camp or peace camp. But the people that used to call themselves peace camp is what we call the Zionist left. Peres, Rabin, and others are representing them, are basically people that want to maintain being the elite of Israel, maintain the connection with America and Europe, therefore speak in the same democratic, liberal language, and have nothing to do with peace or getting to know the society here or opening the borders, but the other way around. To close the borders, to have little pressure from outside, and for that they want to get out of the 67 occupied territories, but they have nothing to do with peace. It's just an intention to make ourselves good for the world, liberal world that we want to be part of, and at the same time control all the resources of Israel-Palestine.
You went to the army, and so did your brother. So what is different amongst you and other Israelis who participate and support the flotilla and the rest of the society?
I grew up in a Zionist home to a pilot's family, my brother and my father, and also when I went to the army itself to be an occupier and oppressor, I always wanted liberty for everyone because this is what I grew up upon. In the army, I understood that we are speaking in one tongue and doing the other way around while we are in the occupied territories. We are not fighting for defending our home. We are fighting to defend an elite, a Jewish elite that wants to control this place. And also not only the Jewish elite, but a part of that Jewish elite, the secular, specific Jewish elite that now is being taken by the religious one. But after all, it's not a fight for freedom. For us, it's not a fight for defending Israel. The fight in the occupation is to maintain the control over the Palestinian people in order to maintain political strength and resources.
When you participated last year, was there anything that surprised you?
I'm not so surprised because I've been an activist at least 8 years, I think, or so. And I've seen most of what the army can do to non-violent activists. The most surprising thing was the taser gun, a shocking weapon that was used against my brother, trying to get to his heart with no whatsoever attack from him. He was hugging a friend of his on the flotilla, a bereaved parent that lost his daughter in a Hamas attack on Jerusalem bus. He was hugging him, and both of them hugged, while a big officer, a colonel, was telling them, if you don't stop hugging, we'll have to use force. When they didn't stop hugging, he tased him and shocked him 3 times, going toward the heart, which can cause death very, very easily. And this shocked me because I was seeing that in front of my eyes while I was beaten up on the floor of the ship of the Navy itself. I saw my brother bouncing and screaming suddenly from an electric shock. This was the only surprise that I have. Apart from that, it was very clear that they're going to kidnap us and arrest us in the middle of the sea and everything.
Do you think you and your brother were treated differently because you are Israeli?
Definitely. No. While I was beaten up by the soldiers that also had this taser gun and all the other guns possible, I was speaking to them in Hebrew, in Israeli accent, with Israeli slang, with Israeli points of common culture. Looking into their eyes, I saw the hardship of him to actually beat me up, while he had to take a side to the side, to take a deep breath, and then come back as a real fighter and then beat me up. It took him at least 5 minutes to do so, because he couldn't face standing like someone just like him, but he feels just like him. There's not someone in Arabic that shouts in a different language that we are all afraid of and you don't understand what he wants, which you treat totally differently. And we know that from our activism. We always go in the front as Israelis with the Palestinians. We always have this difference. And of course, if a Palestinian is arrested, he can be kept for a lot more than an Israeli. We have to be let out after 24 hours. He can be there for 6 months. He's being taken to a military jail. We will usually be let out after interrogation or something like that.
The Israeli government claims that there were weapons on board the last flotilla. From what you saw, are these claims true?
I wasn't on the Mavi Marmara, so I was not there. I cannot tell exactly on what was the Mavi Marmara. I had friends that were there, and I know that they were used some things to beat up the soldiers that were attacking them. It wasn't weapons; it was things for the ship, the daily maintenance of the ship. And when they were attacked by helicopter, before getting to the boat itself, shot from the air and already killed one journalist in his head like that. They were attacked by a big group of you can say pirates, you can say Navy, whatever you want. Based
on what you know, are the preparations different this year from both the Israeli side and the organizers of the flotilla?
Probably will be a little different, but I have no idea. I know that Jonathan, my brother, went there to train people in nonviolent resistance. And a few others have been doing that, meaning they have more of the intention to actually teach them what the Israeli army is. And many times I think that the people that are against the Israeli policies from outside, activists, see the Israeli army as a monstrous army, which is not necessarily true. It's monstrous, but not more than any other army. So when they come in a conflict with the Israeli army, especially after 1 or 2 of them got killed, they became very violent. If I was there, even seeing the soldiers shooting and killing people by me, I would know very well that it would do very little good if I will try to attack them. I will have to be a non-violent, which means actively make sure that things are coming down, but still say what you want with your body, meaning not moving to their orders, but not pushing and not touching them.
Why another flotilla? Both you and me know that there's no chance that it will actually reach Gaza.
Reaching Gaza is not the first aim of the flotilla. The first aim of the flotilla is to say something, is to show that Gaza is under siege illegally under international law, that 1.5 million people are being starved and shot at and taken their land all the time, with the narrowing down their areas that they can get to, shooting to death everyone that gets 600 meters from the fence with Israel, shooting sometimes to death and sometimes only with non-lethal weapons fishermen that go out more than 3 miles from the sea, even though 20 miles is what is promised to them in Oslo agreements, to show that there are people that support them, that not all the Israelis and Jews around the world are for oppression and for these things. And this support and solidarity in a non-violent way, we believe, is something that can definitely change.
But isn't it a legitimate argument that the Israelis have when they say that they have the right to defend themselves from the missiles and the militant activities coming from Gaza?
Maybe I'll ask you, what is Israel that wants to defend itself? Who is the one that needs security here? Who does Israel have to defend? Only Jews? Or only the ones that love the flag of Israel? Or only religious Jews maybe? Or maybe everyone that serves in the army? Or maybe in democracy and human rights, you consider the security of everyone. And if you say Israel today is controlling 4.5 million Palestinians with no rights and another 1.5 million Palestinians with half rights. Are these people not supposed to be defended? The best way to defend them is to stop oppressing them, and the best way to defend us, meaning the Jews, is to stop oppressing them.
The Israeli government has urged for the flotilla to dock in either the Israeli port of Ashdod or in Egypt at Al Arish, and they said that they will be personally responsible for making sure that all the cargo goes to Gaza once they've checked that there are no guns, ammunition or weapons on board. So why not support this?
Because the goal is not to help the people of Gaza bringing things with the flotilla. The things should come from a normal economy, that the borders are open, or at least open in a way that people can control what goes in and what goes out, they can buy whatever they want. Israel is controlling everything that goes in and out of Gaza, and economically making sure that the Israeli market uses a captured market in Gaza to put whatever we have in overdose. Israel doesn't want to let the people of Gaza live normally. They say it out loud and formally, to get it down to the level that people are starving but not to death.
Itamar, thank you very much for joining us here on RT.